and welcome. Today I have a book review for you. It's the Walkley award-winning Fallen by investigative journalist Lucie Morris-Marr. The show is sponsored today by the Structure Success free video training, and I'll have more information about that at the end. A welcome if you're new to the show. It's the place where we learn to write life stories for family and friends so that unique memories can live on. And I'd be really grateful if you could follow, subscribe and like the show. So Fallen is the first book review for the show this year, and it came out published by Allen Unwin in 2019, and it won the book award in the 2020 Walkley Awards. So journalist Morris-Marr, she discovered that Cardinal George Pell was being investigated by Victorian police here in Australia for historic sex crimes against children. She was also in the court when he was found guilty of this, and it sent ripples right around the world, this verdict. But it has since been quashed by the Australian High Court. So let's find out more about the book Fallen. To kick things off, I'm just going to give you a little bit of an overview about the book. So it's a true crime book, and I think it has both biographical elements and memoir elements. It's 360 pages, and it begins when Morris-Marr she's at work for a newspaper in Victoria, and she's sent out on a story to interview someone, and this sparks a quest almost for her to find out more about the Catholic Church and sex abuse. So she then, as I said, she discovers that the police are investigating Cardinal Pell, and this becomes a real turning point for her, professionally and personally. But she returns to become part of what's dubbed the Pell Pack, which is a group of journalists who attend court for what is a retrial, a mistrial, then a retrial, and then handing down of this verdict, this guilty verdict. So as a reader, I found some things really interesting. I'm just going to pull those out. First of all, there was the victim stories. So Morris-Marr, she interviews victims for the book, and there's also a lot of information on the public record. These stories are shocking and they're harrowing, and unfortunately, as Morris-Marr highlights, these are not just sort of isolated cases. There's so many of them around the world, so that was a real eye-opener for me. The second thing I found of note was finding out about the court process. You really are like a fly on the wall for this mistrial and trial. You're right there. There's so much court process and procedure because this was such a high profile case. So for example, they had additional jurors. The witness was not named. There was a cathedral tour, and of course, most notably, there was a suppression order. So basically a total news blackout. And this was to ensure a fair trial. And also, as Morris-Marr details, if you were to break this, it would be break this suppression order, it would be contempt of court, and she could have gone to jail. So that was a real eye-opener for me. The third area I found of interest, because I'm not Catholic, because I learned a lot about the Catholic Church. I learned about seminaries, also regional churches here, about choirs and choir boys, also about life in the Vatican. And then with Cardinal Pell, we learn a lot about his role as Archbishop, his routine after Mass, how he had assistants, also that he had elaborate robes, and the financing of all his court team or his legal team. We learn about that. And also the church as a whole, what it's doing to respond to victims and also to deal with, I suppose, the offending members of the church. So that was really interesting as a reader. But then as a writer, there's some other things that I'd like to highlight. First of all, there was a character. Through reading this book, we do get a sense of who Cardinal Pell is. We learn through Morris-Marr, she's interviewed others, and she's gone to, obviously been in court with him. There's information on the public record. We learn that Pell, for example, he's quite tall. He loved football, playing football. He has strong conservative views. He had this meteoric rise from life as a child at Ballarat in Victoria all the way to being the God's treasurer, as you like, and the Vatican, so life in the Vatican. So she assimilated all of this. And importantly, from what I understand from reading the book, she didn't get to sit down and do a long interview with him. So, we do learn a lot. I think she's got some informative points there about his character. A second thing of note for writers is how she deals with this complex information, but then sort of drills down and makes it easy to understand. We're talking, court process. We're talking charges and police investigations. And she must have had a mountain of court notes from attending all of this and all the court transcripts, etc., to sort of wade through and just make a story, a complete book. So I think she's managed to strike a balance there of paraphrasing important information, but then being able to pick out important quotes or dialogue so that we feel like we are there sitting with her in court. Another thing that as writers, and she says this in the book, is her pursuit of truth. She's going to great lengths, she says, to pursue the truth. For example, she ends her relationship with 2 employers. She carries on after some very stressful situations, during these long stints in court. But most importantly, she says she is one of the few who upholds this suppression order to ensure a fair, expected second trial. So there you have it. That's a little bit of information about the secret trial and conviction of Cardinal George Pell, put out by Allen Unwin. Now, to recap, we've talked a little bit what the book is about, some interesting things as takeaways as a reader, and then some things for writers. Now, my hope in doing these book reviews is that by exposing ourselves to and reading other people's stories, it will inspire us to write our own stories, and we might be channeling some of that determination to make a really fascinating life account. So that's my aim for today, and this is just a short summary, if you like, of an article I have over at my website on the topic. And head over there because you can see a copy of the book cover and is a photo of Morris-Marr. And you go to foreveryoungautobiographies.com/Lucie Morris-Marr. And please, I'd love to hear your comments. Are you thinking of reading Fallen, or do you have another book that you have read that you can recommend and share with us? That'd be really great. I mentioned earlier the Structure Success video training, and this is a great way to brainstorm ideas if you are thinking to write a life story, whether that be your own or you're going to interview a loved one and help them write theirs. So to sign up for that one, it's some exercises which I take you through the whole process. To do this, you go to foreveryoungautobiographies.com/structure success sign up. Put in your name and your email, hit OK, and I'll send you the link. I will be back again really soon with another topic. So I'd be grateful if you could follow, subscribe, and like the show. And until then, everyone, keep writing and keep reading.